Ready?
Good to go.
Great. Matter. My name is Janet Bernardo, Conservation Commission Chair. Permit me to confirm that all members in person members can hear me. Stephen.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
I just got a that my internet connection is unstable, so just go on without me if you can't hear me. Allison.
Aye.
Sue.
Aye.
Staff is Debbie.
Here.
Clay.
Here.
Great, and we'll get to everybody else when we get there. This is an open meeting of the Town of Needham Conservation Commission being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. All supporting materials have been provided to members of this body and are available on the Conservation Commission website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure the chair will introduce each hearing on the agenda, introduce the applicant and or their consultant to begin their project presentation. After they conclude their presentation, we'll go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment or questions. Please hold your name until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you, and please state your name before speaking. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Okay, we'll go through some of the first ones first. Let's do 75 High Rock Street, DP file number 234857. This is a request for certificate of compliance. Is there anybody here to talk about it?
There is not somebody. The applicant was going to try to make it, but wasn't certain that she would. Let me pull up a photo. This order of conditions did not require an as-built plan or the engineer's statement, primarily due to the nature of the project. And I will get this on the screen now. So if you recall, this is the project where they had a deteriorating driveway and a large kind of garage shed right here in the foreground of what's existing.
Yep.
The original structure was within the 25-foot buffer zone, wetland being over here. They came before us to create a smaller replacement shed set further back and outside the 25-foot zone, with a small extension beyond what was originally paved, with just a paver path leading to it. Staff has gone out there and confirmed that the plantings have been installed within the 25-foot. The area has been restored to all vegetation. There is a little bit of soil compaction going on over here, so they're going to have somebody this summer come in and just see if they can aerate it a bit to get the vegetation to take a little bit better. But this time it's, in my opinion, stable. It was done in compliance, and they've met everything needed for that certificate of compliance.
So in your opinion, we can issue them a full certificate of compliance?
Correct. There was no monitoring period. This was a really kind of straightforward project, and it couldn't be done under an RDA because they were within the 25-foot buffer zone. But all the work within the 25-foot was removal of impervious surface and returning to vegetation.
Great. Any comments from the commission? Stephen?
No comments.
Peter?
Nothing.
Allison? Sue?
No comment.
Anybody in the audience?
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay, there's no request to issue a full certificate of compliance for 70 DP file number 234857.
So moved.
Thank you. Can I have a second? Thank you, Sue. All in favor, Stephen,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
and aye. Thank you very much. Okay, how about 78 Elder Road, DP 234880. This is a request for certificate of compliance. Is there anybody here to talk about this one? I see
Yep,
all
Diane.
signatures.
Yes, Diane from Field Resources.
Diane?
And I just came from another meeting, so I do not have a plan to share. But the project, we did find there were a few minor changes, of which actually gave us some additional separation from the wetlands. There was a jog in the back of the house that they removed, though they made the house wider instead. So the configuration of the patio was slightly different, but again, made it further from the wetlands. And I think there was a site meeting. I think I did talk to Deb today because I wasn't sure if I was going to make it. I had another meeting elsewhere. Deb, did you make that site meeting? Oh, here it is.
Yes. Oh, thanks, Clay. Yeah, so just those minor deviations that Diane just mentioned. I did check on the plantings at the rear, and they all looked healthy. So this is a partial for the construction. There's still the 2-year monitoring period. The only thing I brought up to Diane, the COC or the order required that the plantings be located on the plan, but that can be done at the time when they come for their complete COC.
Will do.
So I have that noted, but besides that and the few small deviations, I think you can issue the COC.
Great, thanks. Any commission members have any questions? Stephen,
No comments.
Peter,
No question.
Allison, Deb, Sue.
No comment.
Anybody in the audience have anything else to add to this?
I don't see any hands.
Great, so I'll take a motion to issue a partial certificate of compliance for 78 Elder Road, DP file number 2348880.
So moved.
Have a second?
A second.
All in favor, Stephen,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Janet, aye. Great, thank you very much. Thanks for making it. Diane, do you have anything else here for us tonight?
I think that should do it for this evening. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much for coming.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so the next thing that I believe needs a vote might be 49 Green Street, the Needham Golf Course, request for determination of applicability. And is there somebody here for that?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Sarah Stearns with Beals and Thomas representing Needham Golf Club. And just as we get started, Tim Hood, who is the ground superintendent at the club, apologizes for not being able to come. He was planning on joining us tonight, but at the last minute had a conflict. So he sends his best. I can share my screen if that's appropriate.
Yep.
Okay. Everyone see that okay? Okay. So thank you all for your time this evening. I'll keep it brief. I know you've got a lot to cover. This is a 61-ish acre parcel of land, Needham Golf Club. I'm not sure how many of you have visited the site over the years, but it is in need of a replacement of its irrigation system. So what we have filed as an RDA with you is to upgrade something that has been pieced together, as I understand it, with parts from the 1960s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. So it is something that the club has been looking forward to and planning. Essentially, what will happen is the work will be planned within the existing maintained turf. New irrigation, subsurface irrigation piping will be put in place within the maintained turf. And it is a very temporary type of process where a cut and cover type technique is undertaken, where narrow trenches are dug in the turf is peeled back, piping is installed, compacted, backfilled, turf is added back on top, all within a day, working in phases, working in sections, just reducing any kind of open area, trenched area, and really just taking a methodical phased approach throughout the property. We did want to just put this in front of the commission because, as you can see from the exhibit on the screen, there are wetland resource areas on site in the form of an intermittent stream, a number of ponds, and some BVW around the edges down there, closer to the reservoir. And maybe some of you have walked the cool nature trail through there in the past as well. So work proposed within the buffer zone, but again, limited to the existing turf on a temporary basis. The overall project is slated to take about 2 to 3 months total. So again, working in those phases to get the new system in place and connected. This is something that will provide a far more efficient delivery of irrigation to the club. The technology now compared to what they have in place, as you can imagine, has advanced tremendously. So it will give the superintendent a lot more control as well over specific heads. Even when there's a dry area or an area that doesn't need water, he can control that, you know, from his computer, head by head, zone by zone, far more than he has control over now. So, you know, it's a very positive thing, you know, just for efficiency and operation, but also ecologically and keeping water conservation in mind going forward. We also, let me just see here, scoot under here. Whoop, lost that. I was just going to share another exhibit if you'd like to see. It was another plan that was in the package. I'm not able to click on it. Well, anyway, it is it's just provided by the irrigation designing consultant who has prepared an elaborate piping plan laid out throughout the course, and the club will be working with them closely over the next months to refine that again. So it's a very specific design that will help really tailor to the exact needs of the club. So that's really the overview of the irrigation replacement. There were 2 other items that I just wanted, that were in our filing, that I wanted to bring to your attention as well, where the intermittent stream does cross through a culvert under the MBTA tracks here. No work is proposed in the culvert or the land underwater portion of the stream, but just wanted to mention that for all of the zones of the irrigation system to communicate with each other, essentially, there are electric wires and communication cables that are strung between these so-called satellite stations that are located throughout the course. So in order to complete the upgrade for the 2 holes that are on the far side of the tracks, a communication cable, which is just, you know, essentially a wire, will need to come through that culvert. The plan is to encase it in a conduit and send it through the culvert underground up until the culvert, and then through the top part of the culvert. So not in the bottom of it, not in the water, really just sort of attached to the top part of the culvert as a way to utilize that existing crossing. So just wanted to mention that, and that, you know, would be undertaken during a dry time of year, so that, you know, there's less chance of any kind of you know, sedimentation or anything like that during the install. But it is a very benign process for that one very small conduit. And then the last thing that we mentioned in our filing, again on this northern part of the area of the golf course, there are 2 existing lines, irrigation lines, that are beneath this intermittent stream that will be replaced as part of this upgrade. And to avoid working within the stream or impacting the banks in any way, what is proposed is directional boring beneath the stream channel. And in your packages, we had included some pretty detailed descriptions of that process. And essentially it's a small bore machine that begins to drill beneath or adjacent to the stream channel, well beyond the banks, and then beneath the bottom of the stream to avoid any work within the stream channel itself. And the pipe is simply pulled through that bore. And I've worked on a number of these types of projects and have seen that and worked with the drillers, and it is a very smooth process as long as there's no rock under there. So all signs point to a smooth bore in this area based on the surrounding material. But I know in talking with Tim, he's certainly happy to coordinate with the agent as this process sort of gets refined and they figure out exactly the dimensions and what they would need for those couple of directional drill areas. But, you know, it's a nice way to avoid working in that stream. And I think it's a good way to accomplish what they need to do by crossing that, but avoiding any kind of work within that jurisdictional resource area. So that's the speed overview. I'm happy to try and answer any questions that the board may have, and you know, happy to go from there.
Hey, thank you very much, Sarah. One thing I feel like I should state is that I am a social member of the Needham Golf Club. So I don't know that makes this, I don't think it does, because I don't think I have any financial connection to it, but I just feel like I should make that statement
Close.
as a,
I appreciate that.
yeah. So as you were talking, I could think, when am I gonna say that? I do have some questions. So first, I guess from the commission's point of view, is it okay to participate in this? Or should I not participate in this? You think, Deb, you think it's
You're on
okay?
mute.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I don't see
So,
any-
okay, so I have a few, just a few questions. When you go underneath the MBTA track, you have to contact the MBTA because you're going underneath their track, even though you're in a culvert. I heard that, but I'm like, yeah, they're kind of funny.
I'm going to leave that to the club to work out with the T as necessary, but I believe that since this is not a permanent structure and they must have some sort of access easement in place for the water to be conveyed, there may be an avenue that they can utilize that for this type of work, but that's, you know, as far as I'm concerned, up to the club to work out permissions.
I
with
guess it's
the
not really a
MBTA.
wetlands question. I just,
Right.
the driving range, are you planning on putting any irrigation in the driving range? That's like, seems to be the closest to a serious wetland that,
Yep.
like the stream that goes through, it's kind of, you know, has a asphalt bottom, so it's not as
Yep.
special.
So here's the plan I was trying to get at
Oh,
earlier.
okay.
So here's the driving range for anyone unfamiliar with it. And this is that BBW area that kind of horseshoes around it. And then the reservoir is south of there, if south is the right direction on this plan. So what's proposed here is a small upgrade to what is existing. So it would be, again, down this in the center of the landing area primarily. And really the goal here is to leave any, particularly the main lines, which are the larger diameter pipe, in place, and just either cut through or work around existing poly pipe that's already in place. So there's very little site work associated with it. It would really just be sort of that trenching. And maybe I can go to some photos. Yeah, so here are some pictures of how this works with different equipment. So it's, as you can see, it's a very narrow trenching detail. And then, you know, it's, you know, a matter of hours per area where it's buttoned back up and that sod is put back in place. So there is some plan to upgrade the irrigation on the driving range, but it looks to be a very small area in 3 segments of it.
It's not too close to the actual resource area.
No, and everything will be combined to what's already being maintained. There's nothing outside of that footprint that would put any work closer to the wetland or even the wood line than what's already being used. So
the trench that they're working on in one day, they excavate it and they fill it back in that one day. But the whole process is going to take 2 to 3 months to do everything.
Yeah, that's approximately. Yeah, I mean, that's basically, they have different crews that do different jobs. So they've got the crew that does the trenching, and the crew that lays the pipe comes in behind them. And they have this, very methodical system. And then they have the crew behind them that compacts and patches the area back up, and then everything is connected together. So it's kind of interesting to watch. And you can see kind of here, after that install is complete, where the trench is covered. And this is not an area with a lot of existing topography on the course itself necessarily. So, a lot of the fairway area, the playable area is pretty moderate topography. So we're not, too concerned about major slopes and potential runoff or that kind of thing. So, I think that it seems like it'll be a relatively straightforward process to get this new piping infrastructure in place.
Great. And the one other thing I was thinking is that it does make sense, I think, for one of our staff to be on site during the directional drilling piece. So we'll just somehow keep that in mind. Okay, so any commission members have any comments? Stephen,
No comment.
Peter,
No comment.
Allison,
Yes, I have 3. I'm very familiar with this process, and it's really has minimal disturbance. So she's correct. Sarah's correct in that. So I have 2 questions then after that. One is, it said that there are going to be drains at the low point of the main line. And what is that? And then the second thing is, are there any flow sensors or anything that are specified in case there's a break? Because that's the only thing that I would be concerned about. If the water main breaks for whatever reason, then you can have a lot of erosion.
Great questions. Madam Chair, if you'd like me to try to respond to them, I'm happy to.
yes, please.
So in terms of flow sensors, yes, and I'm not an irrigation expert by any means, but having worked with a number of these types of projects and the specific designer on a few different projects for clubs in the area, that is something that will be a huge technological advantage for Tim and whomever comes after him in years to come, to immediately isolate where there may be a leak or a break or something, and it can be repaired so much more quickly than today, what he's dealing with today with his system, where he just needs to sort of ferret out where low pressure is coming and, do some digging. So I think that I can certainly get some more information if the commission would like that in terms of the details of that. But yes, that is something that is part of this overall upgrade and able to determine those types of leaks and breaks.
Yeah. I just care that you're going to have it. that it will be.
You're going to have it.
You're going to have it. That's important. That's
Yeah.
That's all I really. And what's the drain in the low point? What is the function of that?
And again, I'm speaking a little out of school
On
here.
the plan that you show, it says manual. You said
Right here.
yeah. Manual drain should be installed at low points in irrigation main line where approximately shown. So what is a manual drain? I'm not familiar with that term.
Honestly, I don't want to misspeak, so I'd have to ask the irrigation designer for more information on that. My guess is that it is some things that if there is some kind of blockage or break, there's a way to release that from the area so that they can work and not have to try to dig through a puddle in the low point. But I can confirm that certainly and get that information back to you through Clay or Deb.
I was wondering if maybe it is when they winterize the lines and they have to open it up and get all the water out of it.
Blow it out.
Very possible. I know typically that as they're winterizing these types of systems, they use high pressure and blow out all the water from the lines to get them as clear as possible. So that's a very plausible guess. I can certainly follow up and get back to you because I'm curious now too.
Yeah, that would be great. Sue, you have any, Allison, are you done?
I'm all done. Thanks.
Sue, any questions?
I just had a quick general question. Outside of the intermittent stream, I'm just curious how close the work comes to any significant wetland area. I'm I'm just kind of grasping the what would be the nearest distance to one of the main.
Probably
Well-
pretty close. Like it's like pond on the 6th. I would assume it's pretty close to that because the green is close to that.
Yeah, so if you look at this piping plan, you can kind of see where, this is the pond on 6, I think that the chair was just talking about. You can see where the pipes are proposed, and they are quite close because a lot of that turf is managed quite closely to some of the existing resource areas. A lot of these ponds are lined, some with asphalt or other hard surfaces, and some of them are human-made. Not to, take away from their value, certainly, but again, when I was just out there relatively recently, I had noticed that the superintendent had been leaving a nice buffer strip around the ponds and the stream in a number of areas and letting that kind of natural vegetation grow up. So he's got a nice diverse border. And that, I think, is the intent, to maintain that. So, I think in some of these cases, we are proposing work quite close, and again, it's staying within the maintained area, but I think the temporary nature of it and the quick cleanup is certainly helpful.
And what it's replacing exactly where the old system is.
Yeah, for the most part, the new pipe will be placed adjacent to what is there. Just giving enough room to work so you're not bumping into existing pipe. But yes, the idea is to sort of mirror the existing system.
Thank you.
Any other commission members have anything to add? Anybody in the audience have anything to add?
There are no raised hands.
And I know Tim Hood was in front of us maybe a month or so ago regarding the stream on the 8th green, and had said at that time that he was hiring Bills and Thomas to kind of look at that and some of the erosion and sediment that was happening over there. But this project has nothing to do with that, correct?
Correct. Yes.
You will come back to us at a separate time to talk about that.
Yes, we are working with the club to come up with a scope that we can bring to the commission with a different filing. So I suspect that we'll be back with detailed plans for that once we can decide, what the club is going to include in that scope of work. So yes, this is just for the irrigation replacement.
Thank you. Does anyone have any, I guess our goal is either we need more information, we want to, this is a request for determination of applicability. So we either say it's a positive or negative, whether we want them to come back for a notice of intent, or if we are comfortable with the information provided that this can follow. And is Deb or Clay, is there any reason why you don't think that this can go under a determination of applicability?
No, based on our conversations with Sarah and Bills and Thomas as a whole, it was pretty well agreed that it's minimal impact, especially because they're maintaining them generally in the fairways, which are already previously disturbed. So it's certainly a net benefit to the site. So staff is in agreement for a negative determination.
So if everybody's okay with that, I'm looking for a motion. Do first and then, or I forget every time. I feel like I'm frozen. Am I frozen?
It's just going in and out a little bit, your audio.
Okay, so If everybody's okay, looking for a motion, so the question is, do we close first and then issue a negative, or do we?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, so I'm looking for a motion to close this hearing.
I move that we close the hearing.
A second.
All in favor? Peter, Stephen,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Janet, I close the hearing. Okay, now I'm looking for a motion to issue a negative determination of applicability. And I think the one condition we're really looking for is that some conservation staff will be on site when they're doing the directional drilling underneath the stream.
So
Does
moved.
that make sense? Can I have a second?
A second.
All in favor? Stephen,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Yeah, aye, great. Thank you very much. Thanks. That was very clear and well understood. Appreciate that,
Thank-
Sarah.
Thank you all. It was nice being here.
Is there anything else we have to vote on tonight before we let Stephen leave?
no.
And how are we signing these things?
I'll have them at my office either tomorrow or Monday. I'll
So
send
he
out an
won't come
email.
until, he won't come until Monday or whatever, so whenever, it'll be next week. Okay, thank you very much, Stephen. You can leave.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. So is the next thing on our agenda Wildwood Drive pond treatment updates discussion?
Sure, either. I assume that would probably
I don't
be
have,
faster.
because I don't have anything. I know that you said that they're gonna come and talk to us about Walker, right? But
Well, I forwarded you the email that Mike had sent to me. And I thought that since they're
But I'll-
expanding the work they've been doing, that you might want to get an update on where they're at. So it's a
Oh, okay.
last minute thing. It wasn't on the agenda.
Okay, update Walker. Okay, but we'll talk about if Mike, you okay if we talk about Wildwood first? I guess.
Yes, go ahead.
You don't have to,
I'm
you don't have,
good.
you don't have to get
I'm
a
good.
car to drive down the Cape. Okay. Wildwood Drive Pond treatment updates. We wanted to have a discussion to understand what is happening over there. Oh, Tom, are you here for this one?
I am.
Okay,
So
Great.
I also
And Colin
asked
Dawson.
Tom Ryder, town engineer. I asked water in wetland to attend to. I think it's Colin Goslin as well.
Yep.
Um,
Colin,
So-
you can hear us, right?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can I just say one quick thing?
Yep.
Mike Trementosi is here for 78 Elder, so you might want to let him know that we already completed that.
Yes, Mike, your certificate, you have been issued a partial certificate of compliance for your project at 78 Elder Road. I think, I
Okay.
feel like he's
I think it was a duplicate login.
for a while.
No kidding.
Like he was here in the beginning, yeah. And
Oh,
maybe
okay,
he'll
sorry.
just-
I can't
No
see what
problem.
you guys see.
Anyway, all right. So Tom, is Colin going to speak or are you going to speak?
I'll just introduce what's going on. So about, I think 2018, we filed a request for determination to utilize a beneficial bacteria in order to help with the sediment in Wildwood Pond. So if anyone knows where that is, it's 60 Wildwood Drive. So the thought is that we would utilize this bacteria and monitor it for 3 years. So we're coming at the end of 3 years. Last treatment by Solitude Lake Management was last Friday. And my thoughts are that we are going to want to continue and monitor, utilizing a different company this time and seeing how it's working. So I thought it was just to come before you and tell you our intentions. And we'd like to continue utilizing, at least for this coming year.
Could you see any difference yet?
So Solitude has not submitted one of the reports. That's one of the requirements that they had. But the two previous reports they provided show some sort of treatment. I think it would probably be in our best interest to have another company come in and just pick up where they left off and just keep monitoring, and so we can compare apples to apples. So it appeared that there was some assistance going on. It appeared that it was working, but I think 2 years of data is just not enough. So I'd like to continue with it and see how, by the end of this coming year, we'll see how the product is working a little bit better.
Colin, do you want to explain your contribution to any of this? And
Yeah. So absolutely, Tom gave a quick intro. So we're a new company, not new to the industry, but we're looking to take over July 1. The first order of business is to do a survey. We'll be doing a sediment survey, before we even do any of the treatments. And, we'll be monitoring monthly. And, kind of what we do is after every visit, we take basic water quality, oxygen, temperature, pH and whatnot. We kind of put it into a little field note. So after every visit, we'll send them to Tom. He's, happy to, forward them to the commission. But, we're just really looking to get a baseline and actually do the sediment polling so we can see if it is working, and just get some data.
So the requirement would be to send it to us as well, not just to Tom.
Oh, sorry. Yep. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yep.
And that's
Cut out
what
the
was
middleman.
Yeah, during the last session, that was absent from complete submittals. So I'd like to start fresh and make sure it's clear. You see the face, the name, and you know that they're going to be monitoring at least for you're going to do just during the warm months. That's when the product can be applied. So it would be July, August, September, maybe October, and then go ahead.
And
Yeah.
should we expect a report? Do we get a report every month, or do we get a report in October or next spring?
We'll give you a quick field note report every month. And then, it's pretty easy to compile a year-end report after that. So it's just kind of, like Tom said, everything's warm weather dependent. So it's in order for the bacteria to work, it has to be a certain temperature. So, we'll probably get it to you no later than October, if that works.
So is this a continuation of, like, it was an RDA to start with, right? And so this is just an update, and we make no actual motions or anything.
Right. They're switching vendors essentially.
Great.
And kind of wanted to have a introduction and, just things hopefully will improve going forward.
Yeah, well, we are interested to see how this actually works, to see if it's, a good or a bad thing on anywhere else. Any commission members have anything to add here? Allison? Sue?
What was the product that's being applied? I'm sorry. What is the product that's being applied to the pond?
It's called MD pellets.
Okay.
So I remember there was like an updated super uber one that the town decided not to pay for, and we were sticking with this. Is that still the
Like
case?
Precision Pond or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was discussed a few years ago. I'm not sure what the latest and greatest is. MD pellets are the avenue that we're going to go for right now.
Okay.
Peter, any questions?
No questions.
Great. Well, then I guess we appreciate you coming and giving us the update, and we're going to be interested to hear how this goes in the future.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, I believe Mike Redsky is on to give us an update on the Walker Pond project. Welcome.
Hello. How are you? So, Walker Pond, a little quick history. March of this year, apparently the stop logs had broken that were unfortunately at the bottom of the existing structure that's out there, which in turn caused the pond to almost drain completely. Not quite. It dropped about 2 feet of water out of it. So we got out there immediately and assessed what was going on. And the best way to fix that at that time was to do two things. Number one, put a steel plate in front of the outfall at the structure. We didn't want to dig right in front of it. And then, but there were large timbers, logs that had gotten in there. And I guess they had, between the age of the stop logs and the pressure that was against them, caused the bottom stop log and the second one up, I think, to break. So, which in turn, because we've been monitoring that outfall all along, just to go back, as part of what the DSR shows here that I'm holding, it says that there was going to be replacement of overflow grate and wooden stop logs at some point for some work during this was the plan that came out in January of 2022. So this caused us to do quick mitigation there. So the bottom line was we put our steel road plate in front of the structure, got it to seat as best we could, and then had to pull the log out, pull out the broken stop logs, and then figure out a way where we didn't have to put somebody down inside that structure because it was too dangerous with that water flow that's coming through there. And so ultimately, we ended up grabbing a piece of plywood, some 2x4s, building a temporary stop log out of just a solid piece of plywood and some 2x4s, and put it in there to get the water to stop flowing. And then at that time, you could see what was going on the sides of that structure. That structure itself was severely worn. Water must have been running through there for years because it slides into a groove, not a proper channel, just a concrete channel from what we could see. And where the water was coming through beyond the stop logs just wore out sections of that channel. So the water was just blowing by anyway in certain spots. The concrete's actually eaten away. It was like setting a pressure washer on it and walking away. So there was that much that was going on with the structure. The bottom of the structure is curved at the bottom from it also, because clearly you can see aggregate that's poking through where there's virtually no cement around it anymore, concrete. So the aggregate's poking out. I would personally be afraid to try to anchor something in there because I don't know how strong that concrete is anymore, especially with all the surface aggregate showing. So then after we did that, we were in the process of our staff replacing the top grate because that was severely rusted, and the neighbors were calling us on it because they didn't want anybody to step on it or fall in it. So we had called our welder who was doing the grate and said, all righty, we got a rough measurement. We want to stick a steel plate in that groove to stop this water because that plywood's not going to hold. And sure enough, by late April, the water level had come up again, even though we had leaks beside it and we had some sandbags in there. We had to get rid of that plywood because that was going to let loose and we would have been back to square one. So, so what happened was we managed to have the welder come out, replace the top grate, like we said, for safety reasons. And we ordered a steel plate and cut the plate right in the field and put it in where the plywood was. So we actually did kind of a swap, cut out part of the plywood, drive the plate in, pull out as much of the plywood as we could, and then went from there. Well, put all the new grates on, and things were working well. And then things started to leak at the bottom. So we said, all right, the water level actually came back up to where it was prior to us being there. Between the drought we've had, as those of you know, we only had about 1.25 inches rain during the month of May. And I think I want to say we've had less than that now in June. So between that and the leaking we're getting around the current plate because of how much it's worn at the outfall, we went in there just the other day, yesterday as a matter of fact, and we drove a new steel plate in front of that one, and added and we've added about a dozen new sandbags to try to stop that water from flowing. So we've got it down to just a couple of small areas where it's leaking, but again, this is just a Band-Aid. So the plates aren't gonna let loose. That's not gonna happen. You know, I mean, they're not gonna fail like the wood would have, but we need to do something more permanent there. One of the aspects is working with Tom Ryder and also consulting with Beta on this. We're gonna need a new outfall at that location. This one's reached its useful life. It should come out. We should put a proper outfall in there, along with an access way to the pipe that's right there that it connects to. So we're looking to get design monies for that, and also move that forward because this is a priority. So anyhow, that's where we stand right now. I would like to be able to cofferdam the front of it, 12 to 15 feet out from the edge of where that is. I would like to get in there, dewater that space in front of it, and then get in there and try to do some more permanent repair until we get the new outfall structure designed, bid, and built. So
So what do you expect the timing to be? Like, I guess a couple of things. When are you thinking you want to put this cofferdam in? And when are you thinking you're going to actually have the design plans ready? And then when are you going to put the new structure in?
I could do the cofferdam part of this depending on what it is and what we could put in. I don't know what's best to go there. I think we need to consult with Beta on that, because I want to make sure whatever we're building is structurally sound. So when we dewater in front of it, it doesn't tip into us, whether it be sandbags and some Jersey barriers to hold it up, whether it be one of the aqua barriers. You know, I don't want to do steel sheathing if I can avoid that at all costs. But I would look to do something like that as one of the methods. Tom, what is the time
But
look
are you
like?
not, like, how deep is this? Is the
Right in
outlet
front of
control
it,
structure?
about 4 feet right now, from where the water level is, but the structure sits up a lot higher because it's on a slope. If you could let me share a screen here.
I was wondering if you had any photos or anything.
I don't have any photos on me. I was trying to get out to do that today, but I'll be honest with you, this came up yesterday and we've been crazy. I was out. I had 8 people out today, and you can imagine what that's like in my department of a 20. And I'm down 4 staff, so I am totally decimated without enough help today. And one department alone, which I have 3 people in, I had 2 of the 3 out, and that was, you know, that's my meter guys. So, and that's just a 24/7, you know, busy. So anyway, and then I had a water leak over on Brookside. I go on and on. I don't think you want to hear all that. So let me if you can let me share a screen, I could show you one of the old profiles of that culvert pipe. If I could share a screen here, how would I?
Yeah,
How
you
could I
should be
do
able
that?
to see a little green square at the bottom.
Yep.
Clay, do you have any photos?
Got it.
I have photos. I'm
There you go,
looking for
yeah.
it right now.
Okay.
All right, so you can see this. This is, we pulled this plan up. So to the right where it says water level, that's Walker Pond. This is the outfall. I don't know the age of this plan. It's what came out of engineering. And you can see there used to be an existing 3 by 2.5 inch, 2.5 foot box culvert in there. And it was replaced at some point by a 42 inch RCP culvert pipe. And we're talking about the outfall here that meets that water level.
Do you think the 42-inch culvert pipe is still okay?
I don't know. I know we've done some CCTV work in there in the past before I was here. And I know that they found large pieces of wood and other debris in there that they've had to go in and to try to take out, because that runs, that pipe runs through an easement that's right by Oxbow and comes around and eventually goes out directly to the Charles River.
Oh, this pipe goes directly into the Charles River?
Yep. Yep, it goes out across. I could show you
It
another.
says like central 60 feet. At the top, it says central 60 feet. So is that like, is it 120?
That's Central Ave. That's Central Ave right there, yeah.
Okay, across is central, it goes under Central Ave.
Yes, correct. Goes under Central Ave, and it's all buried.
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
way
yeah.
Out, there's an easement out in those backyards on Central Ave. The pipe takes a 90-degree bend and then goes out, crosses Oxbow again, and then goes out between some homes and then out to the Charles River, which is, you know, right further down where the bridge is.
My only other thought is, you know, I guess I'm not at all surprised that you're here having this issue, and this is what happens when we don't, you know, maintain things. They all eventually fail. I think the neighbors of Walker Pond would have been talking about this, you know, years ago. But when this is happening, I understand that you now are going to have to kind of put this in an emergency direction. But can
Correct.
anything else happen in Walker Pond that would benefit the pond while you're changing this outlet?
I don't know the intricacies of what you're gonna do in Walker Pond. I heard about hydro raking it. I heard about some other issues, but I don't know exactly what's going on over there. So I'd feel more comfortable if Tom could comment on that one, if, you know.
Yeah, I just don't know if there's any way to combine some of, I mean, this is obviously going to be an expensive project. This copper dam is going to have to happen. It's just like, while you're in there kind of making a mess, can you do anything else at the same time?
Yeah, can I share my screen?
Sure.
Okay, I'm not sure. Can you see that?
Yep.
That was from, looks like it was back in March.
Yes, yeah, that was the temporary.
Was it low here? Is this really low? Or
The
is this?
stop, the stop logs were damaged,
Hmm.
and yeah, so it got low. Yeah, it got pretty low. And then I do have, oh, that's not it. So you can see the new grate. Sorry, not great pictures, but the new grate sits upon this concrete ledge piece. And the stop logs are right below it. There's another safety grate that covers the opening, so animals can't get in.
But this is really just temporary because he's going to change the whole thing.
Yeah,
soon
so
enough.
we are going to be following up with the, with the notice of intent regarding, cleaning up Walker Pond. I think, I believe a couple of years ago, I'm not sure if Beta or another company came before conservation to talk about, potentially using weed harvesting or using the chemical treatment. I think conservation said they prefer not the chemical treatment. So we are going to be proceeding with a contract in the near future, but we'll be going before the conservation to do so. In the meanwhile, one of the recommendations was to replace the stop logs, which subsequently just got damaged. So that was one of their suggestion points anyways. I figure that we'll take operate separately, have come before the Conservation Commission for a new design for the outlet structure. In the meanwhile, do the weed harvesting application process as well. So we're looking at probably really starting that up next month. Next
Okay.
fiscal year. For both.
And Beta is involved with both of these projects?
Beta sort of was involved with the Walker Pond, but I think I'm going to ask a few other companies to take a look at the weed harvesting. I don't think this is their forte, for the application and design process. So, but the outlet structure would be, but maybe not the weed harvesting. So.
Okay, well, maybe you can just at least ask their opinion while they're working on this outlet control structure, if there's anything in that area. I mean, I don't know. Well, you have to clear a space, so it seems like if it makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense. I just feel like you're going to be in there anyway. So I don't know. I guess any other commission members have any comments? Sue, any comments?
Wow. I really don't.
Peter?
No.
Allison?
I just had a quick question that I didn't quite follow, and it might be my fault, that you seem to want to do the cofferdam and dewater before the design is produced for the new structure. And my question is why?
Yeah, I was trying to understand that.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so it's still leaking underneath, below the plate and around the plate. So we have to get in there to be able to work in the dry to clean out the very bottom of that to try to get this water to stop because it's continually draining where it's leaking. So the issue was there was enough water in there. We had enough rain in there that the water levels had come back up. Now that we don't have any rain coming, the water levels are dropping because it's continually leaking around the sides. There's no way I can seal it up tight.
Oh,
So,
the cofferdam is to seal it, is to
Cofferdam.
and it's to seal it for a while until they actually replace it is the idea.
The cofferdam is there so we can get in, pull the plate out, clean anything out that's around where the steel plate is. That's the new stop log. It's a solid steel road plate. I've already stuck another one out in front of it. So we're trying to just stop the leaking so we can maintain the level in the pond.
While you're having the design of the new outlet
Correct.
structure be done.
Correct.
And have
So
you,
this is kind of the reason I asked him to come before you, because I'm wondering, with this new work, whether we're reaching the level that we need to have some kind of emergency permitting or, something done. As far as that goes.
well, we should, yeah, if they're going to put the cofferdam in, yeah, I think that there's something, but is that under the DPW generic permit for like,
No,
where does it fall under? I mean, we should have it. I agree that
Yeah.
we don't want all that water to drain out over time. And so if there's a way, but maybe it's been draining. And so if you stop it from draining, it will fill to the top of the outlet. And then that is. still
well, are they
existing,
putting the
is it?
coffer dam up so that they can do some work? Is that
I-
what I'm hearing, Mike?
Yes, you're hearing that. I need to put the cofferdam in, just outside the structure, far enough out so we can get in there. We'll dewater between the cofferdam and the structure so we can get the debris and the stuff that's in there out of there. We'll pull the plate out. We can work in the dry safely, clean the area out, then drive the plate back in to the grooves that'll hold it inside the structure, and then seal up around it the best we can to try to prevent the water from continually leaking out. Like I said, the sides of the structure where the stop logs were and the plate is now literally has hollowed out areas where the water could go right around it. And underneath, the bottom isn't flat, it's curved because the water was punching in under it, I guess, for a long period of time too.
So then once you repair it as best you can, is the cofferdam coming out until you go back?
Yes, the cofferdam will come out, and then we'll wait till we get what we need for a design and get the project bid so we can replace this whole structure. I'm told the structure was modified or built, I don't know, back in the 90s. So that's what I'm told by the crew here. I don't know. I don't have any plans per se on it because it was done by staff, 20 plus years ago. So I don't know. I don't even know structurally how this thing's set up. So
I just, obviously, when they come in with the NOI to replace the whole structure, and DEP will review it, I just don't want, it to come out then that they've been doing this work within the water body and everything without any kind of emergency permit or anything.
Right, okay. So I guess part of the confusion was that the cofferdam is coming back out. So this first piece is an emergency action to repair the dam at that stage. And then you're going to go back, redesign it, and then you'll come back to us with a notice of intent that's to really replace it.
right, for a permanent new structure that will be, like right now, this is hard. It's almost impossible to access. I wouldn't send anybody down inside that for fear that if something let loose, it would just, it would push them down the pipe. So.
So an emergency permit, like I don't know that we have an emergency permit. I think, is it
It's a DEP. It's a DEP emergency.
Okay, so they just fill out the DEP form?
Yeah, I can work with them to put something together so that at least DEP knows what's going on.
Okay.
So I can work with you, Mike and Tom, and put something together.
Yeah, I would, my goal would be to either do an aqua barrier or a porta dam outside of this. So that we could get in there to work here. And then as soon as we know we're set and the Band-Aid's gonna hold, then we pull the porta dam out, pull whatever's out of there, and then, let the pond go back to the way it should be.
Okay.
Just some additional information. When we do the redesign, this is going to be the sampling location for our NIPD's program.
Good.
So this is going to be an area where we'll be conducting samples.
Excellent.
That's why, one of the other reasons is we want to put probably an access hatch on this so we can actually access the pipe from this end also. Because right now we have to go downstream to access the pipe and come up. if we could get in here on the backside of it, that'd be ideal, you know, either with a frame and or a hatch of some sort, and then enough safety fencing around it so that, you know, it would be safe for everybody.
Good, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense, the whole, now that we kind of understand it, and Debbie will help you with the emergency DEP form for this initial piece, and then you'll come back to us and I just know that we're having so many different things going on with that pond that the neighbors have been asking about for so long, and if there's some opportunity while you're repairing this to clean out something along the way, I don't exactly know what that means, but they just keep it, just at least the beta know that it's out there as a thought.
Okay, yeah, I've been talking to a couple of the residents over there on a regular basis. They've got my direct number, so.
I'm sure they're happy about that. They had
Well,
mine for a while. I finally had to give it up.
well, it was funny because when I first started back in the fall, I was getting calls in the late fall that the pond level's too high. It's too high. It's coming up. You got to come clean the grate. So we go out and clean the grate. And then next thing I know, I'm getting calls. The pond's too low. The pond's too low. I said, what's going on?
Okay.
All right, anything else? I think we appreciate you coming. Do we have to vote on anything? We don't have to do anything.
No.
Okay.
Strictly informative.
Great.
So just to follow up, I'm gonna, or just to summarize, Tom and I will work together on this.
With
And
Debbie.
we'll have to pull Beta or somebody in just to make sure whatever we're putting in there, a porta dam or an aqua barrier or something like that, whatever we're gonna do is gonna suffice so we can keep our guys safe while we do this
Right,
work
definitely,
and go from there. Okay.
definitely, yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't have to put in steel beams to do that.
No.
Yeah, no. It's only 4 feet, you'll be fine. Okay, anything else? Any meeting minutes, enforcement orders?
No, Clay does have a set ready that he's gonna circulate. And just as an FYI, during my review, I did mention to Lee that we need to hire someone to do minutes at this point. We are way too busy. Clay is way too busy. And so that's on our horizon.
Okay.
Okay.
What did I just had when are we going, what are we doing next month as far as?
So our
in-person?
next meeting is 3 weeks out, July 14th, the day before we're required to be in person.
Okay,
So we're still waiting to find out if there's going to be an extension to that. I guess it went through the House and not the other part or something. Maybe Clay, you know more. So we're gonna hopefully be getting more training with the owl to use in the Charles River room before that, and get some more guidance from the town as far as what's going to be required as far as I think something like a quorum needs to be present physically, but that commission members can miss up to, be remote a certain number of meetings. So we're waiting for all of that to come together. But our next meeting can still be remote, and hopefully we'll have a whole lot more information.
okay,
Because, legal ads, we're going to need to know what we're doing in order to put those in properly.
okay. So July 14th, I can be in person, or I can be
No.
available, however it is. Okay.
Yes.
Here. July 28th, if it's in person, I will not be able to be there, so.
Are
I can
you
be remote.
serious?
I'm
We're
serious.
finally going to be together.
I'm going on vacation.
You're what?
I'm going on vacation.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll
All right.
figure it out, but we'll
Yeah.
discuss
If it's remote,
further.
I'll call in if it's remote. if I can be remote.
Take vacation.
All right. So if we're all good, we have a motion to, anything else, or are we ready to adjourn?
No, I think we're good. If I get any more information, I'll pass it along to you guys so you can be prepared.
I hear you,
Great.
puppy.
Oh my God, it's like having a toddler. It really is. No one walks them as well as I do, even though 2 other people already have during our meetings. So you know what I'm doing now.
Well, it's nice night. Good for you.
Thanks, Janet.
Okay, motion to adjourn,
So moved.
seconded, anybody?
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Hope
Thank
you
you
feel
very
better,
much.
Allison.
Yeah, I feel better, Allison.
I know,
Thanks.
feel better.
Still coughing.
Feel better.
Mm,
I
Lots
felt
of fluids.
better tonight, Alice.
have
Really.
some tea with honey.
No, I had to have antibiotics. That's the only thing that cut into
Oh.
it. I hate taking them, but it was after 2.5 weeks. I just, and
Mm.
it made a difference. I
Okay.
have, yeah, I definitely had a secondary infection, so.
All right, take care of yourself.
Thank you,
Bye.
bye all.
Bye, everybody.